You're eating in the mess tent when you hear something rumbling. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire! You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structure together in Colony Square. People are squinting up into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor's going to land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all. Thank you for joining me for Nathan Plays Badly, Nathan Streams Badly. I was a teenage Exocolonist. We're in kind of a bind here. Colony is starving. We've got people like our dad who are suffering from the shimmer, although not necessarily right now, but comes back around pollen time again, they will. And this biology right here needs to be to this first tick for us to do anything about it. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do anything about it before glow, but let's see if we study life sciences. It's been a while since you've been to life science class. You wonder who they got to teach it after Professor Hal died. He was the teacher back on the ship. Who could possibly replace him? Take your seat in the classroom. There's no teacher here yet. You and the other students wait, exchange awkward glances as time passes. Eventually, Chief Engineer Instance breezes through the door. She's accompanied by Tang, who takes a seat beside you, barely giving you a second look. Look who showed up. Tang snaps with a sinking feeling. You know she's talking about you. Badly. Can you even tell me what life science entails? Tang looks at you out of the corner of her eye, trying not to smirk. Biochem, medicine, ecology, geology. You easily rattle off the subject names. Instance doesn't look pleased, but she doesn't look disappointed either. That's about as good as you ever get from her, honestly, so you can count that as a win. Tangent stops you on the way to class. Badly. Were you headed to life sciences? Good. I could use your help with something, actually. I'm working with Chief Engineer Instance in the biolab. If you give me a hand with it, I'm sure she'll give you credit for the class. Of course I'll help. Honestly, it's Tang. We just need somebody to label petri dishes and move them from the cooler to different machines. A hop eye can do it. Great, I'll hop on one foot. I'll also wear prosthetic little eyes on the back of my head. That helps. Instance is staring unfocused at her. Unfocused as a hop eye as she processes the results of the scan. Tang goes and stands beside her, pulling up the scan on her own hollow palm. They confer quietly while you wait. Sounds like they're studying the shimmer, the mysterious illness some colonists get during pollen every year, including your dad. Instance looks up at you as if just noticing your existence. Ah, badly, she says. We've been studying samples from some of the colonists who get sick during pollen, including your dad. Some of the stuff is in his lungs. It's some kind of fungus. We think the shimmer is a form of reproduction, Tang explains. It's like a fungus trying to turn us into more fungus like it. It's really neat, actually. Yeah, neat, more like ultra creepifying. You sound like you like the fungus. More like ultra creepifying. That too, Tang replies, though she looks more excited than scared. We'd be much safer if survivors just set fire to it all, rather than trying to study it. Oh, if surveyors just set fire to it all, rather than trying to study it. Who knows what else is out there trying to kill us? +1 to biology. +1 shimmer cure. Spend the rest of the week helping them study the illness. Mostly, this involves following instructions and doing as Tang loves to repeat jobs a hop eye could do. Nothing beats hands-on experience, though. This would be easier if we had an actual sample of the fungus, Instance remarks. They're working with some biological samples, a fancy word for snot, but according to them, the fungus is all mixed in with the human cells. Oh, she's not saying that, that's just narrating. Anyways, Instance has to spend a lot of time in virtue space trying to disconnect the two in her models. Mention the fungus statues you found. How close are we to a cure? Mention that the statues are found. Instance replies. That is interesting. However unlikely it is that an untrained adolescent would simply have stumbled across what we're looking for. It is worth chasing any possible leads on this disease. You could take a look at them in your dad's geoponics lab. She suggested, giving you a dubious look, but you might need to brush up on your biology studies first. Again, that's why I said I need to be this little hash mark here on the biology, because that's where we get access to Dad's biology lab. Or I could just remember it from another lifetime. Tangent and Chief Engineer Instance have been hard at work in the lab trying to find a cure for the shimmer disease. You come to realize you remember how to cure the shimmer. You can't tell them it comes from your dreams, but you know the cause from nightmares of fungal topiaries, and you know the cure. You think you do, anyways. Slowly guide them to the cure. You offer to help and nudge the research in the right direction. Due to what looks like a series of happy accidents, you achieve a breakthrough in a matter of weeks that would have taken years. Sunlight! +1 biology. You try inoculations, antibiotics, antifungal creams, but what finally works is a highly intense light treatment, mimicking the full force of the sun's during dusk, coupled with an injection to increase its potency. Of course, Tang exclaims. The fungus colonizes animal life during pollen, and some succumb to it. But the intense light of dusk scores the fungus from the survivors. It's all part of the natural cycle. The treatment works on samples, now to test it on a subject. You know it works, test it on yourself. You already know the treatment works and it is safe, but you have to test it on someone to prove it. At least this way you look like a hunk. You open a triple locked research room and pass through an airlock. You don't have your enviro suit on, but that's the point. You need a strong dose of this fungus in your lungs. The small room is filled with shimmer fungus. What's the friendship with tangent? Cool. It's growing on everything, the floor, the walls, and on lumpy shapes that were some kind of biological matter once. Now it's all just fungus. Violent and shiny. You breathe deeply, marveling in the feeling of soupy, dangerous air infiltrating your body. Tang watches safely from behind the thick plexiglass. You can't tell if she's jealous or impressed. -5 stress. Cool. Next, you slide into the light therapy machine to bask in the nice warm light for a while. You even have a nap. Dr. Instance takes your vitals and runs samples of your fluid through various machines. She's excruciatingly thorough, but after a few days, she concludes that the treatment is a success. You still carry a high fungal load, but its effects have been nullified by the light therapy. The Shimmer Cure. All cards become brain cards. 2 friendship with tangent. Remarkable, Instance says, going over your findings. Now that we have a frontline therapy, we can begin treating the population to prevent the fungus from taking hold. She looks over at Tang. Badly's discovery will be of great help to our other research. You expect Tang might be cross that you got the credit, but she nods, looking pleased. One of the things I've realized about Tang is she doesn't care who gets the credit. All she cares about is getting results. At least with the Shimmer Cure. I don't think anybody's actually died of the Shimmer yet, but several people are getting pretty close. You're just thankful that no one was killed. Not your father, not anyone else. The colony is safe from the Shimmer. Okay, let's go for 6, 2, 2, or for 4, 2, and then this 2 becomes 4 when you put it on here. Which, actually, we didn't need. Because just as a 2, it would have brought us to 24. Well, why is that? Because that card becomes 3, whatever it is. Okay. Well, what if I exchange these 2? That gets us 28. Alright. Let's just take the win. I might be able to get a bigger win, but I also have this sponge cakey stuff that I found. Can I give that to Mom or Dad and have them examine it? Despite your dad poring over some plant samples, never should have wasted my time on those beans, he grumbles. I thought for sure I checked them over and over. He sighs and scrubs his face. Too late now. Mom? Your mom passes you a soy ration bar from her pocket. Here, Badly. Eat up. You need your strength. Okay. Within the geoponics lab, in geoponics tents, everyone is working themselves to the point of exhaustion, trying to get enough plants in the ground to survive this year. I can apply to work as a farmer. That might help. You ask your mom if they're still looking for people for that farming job. Sure, kiddo, she tells you. That is assuming that you've been studying on your biology. School comes first. I'm ready. Unlock farming and geoponics. Your mom claps you on the back. Oof. She's just as strong as she looks. Great. She says, come see me in geoponics when you're ready to start. It'll be more fun than wheeling dirt around, I promise. Okay, well, I can work on the farm. +2 biology, +2 toughness. What's this? +3 animals, +2 empathy. Work on the farm. It's a proud day for your mom. You're finally following in her footsteps. She meets you at the gate to the gardens. Hello, Sprout, she says, sounding chipper. Come on. We've got a lot to cover before we're able to keep up with the rest of us. Finally, some real farming. Mom shows you around the fields in Geoponics Town. You'd mostly be working in the field with the healthier earth crops like the potatoes and the corn, as well as the native plants we've managed to cultivate. She shakes her head. And with the state of the crops right now, we need a miracle. She's right. The crops are worryingly meager. Sickly yellow soybeans and potatoes with enormous leaves, but barely any potatoes under them at all. You spend the rest of the day pulling weeds and watering plants. You're dirty up to your waist by the time you're finished, but it's good, honest work. You're proud to be able to do something that helps out the colony. Cal gives you a high five and invites you for a cool drink in the cafeteria. All the other agriculturists join you. Of all the places in the colony you've worked, geoponics is the most like a family. Maybe because they've always been your family, thanks to your mom and dad. Someone broke into the gardens last night and stole some green tomatoes. What a waste. Not only were they probably too bitter to eat, but now you don't have the seeds to replant. Your mom is furious. This sucks. Your mom calls everyone for an all-hands meeting. She looks grim as she surveys the group. All right, farmers, listen up. Based on my projections, geoponics should have been producing 70% of the colony's food by the end of our 3rd year, she says. The rest was to be provided by stored rations and hydroponic algae greenhouses aboard the Stratospheric. The agriculturalists all nod. Everyone knows where this is going. Because we lost so much of our hydroponic equipment in the wormhole incident, as well as 90% of our soil and bacteria cultures, we're nowhere near the production we need to be at. We also had hoped to have domesticated a lot of the native crops, but as we found from the pixie beans last year, we have some more work to do on that front. She looks at every one of you in the eye. You're my people, my family. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. The colony is going to fail if we don't get a handle on agricultural production. People will die. You feel a pit in your stomach that's not just from hunger. You can't imagine someone as strong as your mother just wasting what? Your mother pulls up a hollow screen outlining work plans for this season. You feel your own hollow palm pulse as you receive a copy. There's so much life here on the planet, your mother says, but it seems to fight us at every turn. I've sent soil chemistry analysis to your palms, courtesy of geranium. The soil needs to be conditioned extensively to support earth crops. We need to cultivate more viridium crops in partnership with the foragers. We need to salvage what we can from hydroponics and get that up and running by the end of the year. Mother would never stoop to being beaten, but you can see the lines of fatigue around her eyes. It'll take a superhuman amount of work to turn this around, but it is still possible. Well, it's good that everybody in this colony is genetically engineered, isn't it? You are my people who will save this colony. I believe in us and the miracles we can perform here. Thank you for being here to do the work. Now let's get out there. +1 food, colony food. Cool. But I did not get a chance to give her the sponge cake stuff. +28. Card gets +2. Well, 2, 5. Let's do this differently. 3, 4, 5. I'm rethinking this whole thing. 1, 2, 3. Oh. What if we did, well, what if we did this? Two and 5. No, that's not going to do what I want it to do. Put that there. That there becomes a 5. And then that's a 7. And that would be a 4. No, no. No. 2, 3. No. That's 3, that's a 4. This is a 4, this is a 4. It's still not 28. Okay. We don't want to change the color, we just want to give it an extra 1. That gives it a straight of 1 or 2, 3, 4. Put 5 in there. There we go, 32. Okay, 3 stars. So 4 biology, +1 toughness. I'm awfully afraid that we still don't have anywhere near what we need on this food. Yeah, 40%. But hey, we cured the shimmer. You won't worry about it right now. I'm thinking I got 50 kudos, I could get rid of a card, but there was not a card that showed up in there really that I thought needed to be taken out. Not really. Your mom was really counting on the rice crops to flourish on Viridium, but no luck. The soil just isn't right. It hurts to have lost such a staple crop. Find your mom almost collapsed over a stack of soil, her head in her hands. When she hears you, her head snaps up and she wipes her eyes. You try to leave quietly, but she realizes that you saw her cry. It sucks. Your dad is a total nerd when it comes to crunching statistics about the colony's food production. Through him, you learn that the average person eats approximately 200 kilograms of dried rations every year. That works out to about 2,000 calories a day. There are about 100 colonists to feed at 2,000 calories a day, so in a year you need to produce about, well, no matter how many times you think it over, the math is grim. Even with all your hard work, geoponics is producing far, far less than colonies to survive. It all feels so hopeless. Knowing that all your hard work still hasn't been enough, well, it breaks something in you. Hunger and depression boil together in your stomach as you work like bitter acid. You're working so hard and you're still starving. You deserve to eat. You need to eat. If you don't eat, you're not going to be able to work as hard as you need to. So when it's just you and the wheelbarrow of anemic-looking carrots, what do? Steal some food, stealing food to survive, or don't steal, so hungry. +2 to all our other strength card. So basically, except for this is a 3 and this is 0, these two cards are the same. And they're different suits, but don't steal it. +1 colony food. Takes an extraordinary amount of willpower, but you get all the carrots weighed and delivered to the kitchens. This food is for everyone. It's not a lot of food for 100 people, but at least you'll all survive together. Or at least you'll all starve together. I like my word survive better. Farming. 1 slot card becomes value 3. Okay. Well, 2. I don't have any gems, so that 3 is a 3. That's fine. 4, 5, another 4. It's not 3 stars, but it'll do. This is unfortunate. It's been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year drags on, and the fields continue to struggle. You've been wasting away. All you all have, it's not just the lack of calories, there just aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you are eating. I'm completely stressed out. Your muscles ache all the time. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often it feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders pulling you down. You're tougher than most, but you still have trouble sleeping. Despite being tired all the time, you spend the whole day in a dazed fog. It's hard to tell dreams from reality. Last week, you were brushing your teeth when you noticed that some of your teeth were wiggling. You brushed and watched all your teeth begin to fall out of your mouth, clinking in the sink like pebbles and washing down the drain. Horrified, you started screaming, only to snap out of it and realize you've been staring at yourself in the mirror the whole time, lost in a hallucination. Your friends stop working and retreat to their quarters. You lie to each other on the holonet, all saying you're okay. Just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went, as meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up, never rests, never stops working. As much as your dad begs her to, she must be sleeping in geoponics because you hardly see her in the family quarters anymore. From where you lie nestled in bed in your cozy fatigue, it all seems like far, far too much effort to bother with. Help your mom in geoponics. +1 biology, 0 toughness, because we're still starving. And stressed out. You're out there in the fields with her, being her sidekick, helping fetch things. She never slows down. When the row plow finally breaks under the pressure, she doesn't. She's out there even longer, doing everything by hand. Both of your parents feel responsible for the family, but as head of geoponics, your mom takes it personally. She's been skipping meals, relying on water, and passing pressed soy water rations. Just enough calories to keep the body moving, but not enough to stay healthy. Yet she never lets up, working herself to the bone, barely even sleeping, increasingly shadowed eyes and gone. You and your dad try to slow her down, but, well, she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, then who? You and your dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth when there's a commotion at the door. Someone runs in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. No. It's just like before. It's just like your dreams. You and your father run to geoponics, but you know what you're going to see before you get there. Your dad sees her body first. He lets out a cry like something you've never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain, digging up from the darkness. Digging up from the deepest parts of where fear lives. Your dad falls to his knees beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile shell. To tell you, she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees and then lay down in the dirt. And that was it. So even more stressed, because I wasn't completely stressed out before, in morning, she's gone. Mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night the colony gathers to pay their respects. Can you join them? Yeah, it's in the view. The incinerator room has been cleaned. It has been cleared, and a wreath of flowers has been placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. They're white astrinta, her mom's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth with the hopes of it flourishing on Viridia, just like you. You stand with your father and Aunt Anne. Eckhart and the rest of the council are here as well, including Rhett. You're surprised to see tears rolling down his face. He's such a in the garrison. Cal is here with all the other agriculturalists. The rest of the colony waits in the canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Governor Endicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she begins solemnly. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our greed. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she, more than many of us, exemplified the spirit of our endeavor to bring life to beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe to her is the kind that can never be repaid, she continues. It is with a deep and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect of her sacrifice, the death of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us still. Eckhart closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrator begins to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourished us. That nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. Ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotions, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Your father is the new head of geoponics. In a few hours, he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling at your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly. His voice is thick as emotion. Is thick with emotion. I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. Take the month off or get back to work. Let's take the month off. So, we are now 100%. There's glow. Prospect of just going back to work like everything is normal is too much to handle. The sun dips below the horizon and the glow begins. You spend the whole month alternating between sleep, scrolling the holonet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. It's enough to survive for another month, until the new year. Maybe if you keep rationing, the colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. The roar awakens you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbling through the ship's hull and making your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by the sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then another roar, guttural and rumbling like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there. Run to face it. Gain status heroic. Let me remind all of you of our status. We've got now heroic, +1 to physical skills. In mourning, your mourning loss to a loved one, all skills increases reduced by 1 for 3 months, and some jobs and actions can't be performed. Starving, hunger makes it difficult to do physical tasks. Physical skill increase reduced by 1. So that and that cancel each other out, and then you lose 1 for everything. Yeah. You don't know what gives you the courage, but you run out to the fields to face the horrible creature face to face. It has no face. In place of a face, or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mass of whirling pink tentacles and blinking eyes. Pocked and jagged, asymmetrical teeth, it stands on 4 enormously powerful legs, each as wide across as tree trunks. Clinging to its back and its thick slug-like tail are clumps of lichen that glow faintly in the night. The creature is nearly twice the height of a greenhouse. It's standing on top of a flattened one. The wreckage of lasset and plants all around. Flickers of light from plasma rifles and stun gloves light it from underneath, and the stench of ozone is thick in the air. You see Eminette and her brother come, darting in and around its legs with their twin shocks of red hair. The faceless creature lurches to another greenhouse, oblivious of the soldiers trying to hurry it away. The monsters left a trail of destruction from where it smashed right through the walls. Smaller creatures are pouring in through the gap and heading towards. They're headed straight to command. You watch helplessly as the hordes of animals storm command, sneaking through the torn away panels and smashing through windows. It's too far away to hear the screams, but Governor Etiquette is inside. You have to do something. Help Eminette and Calm, save Governor Etiquette, fight the faceless monster on your own. It probably sounds bad, but I'm going to help Eminent and Calm. +2 friendship from Eminent. You run towards Geoponics, picking up a handful of rocks as you cross through the barren field. When Calm sees you, he gestures for you to flee. Get out of here, Badly, he says. You're going to get yourself killed. You grip your rocks in defiance. You're sick of being told to hide like a child. You want to help. Your sister's right there, and she's younger than me. 72. Card gets +2. Okay, let's put that on there, and that. Whoops, not that. And that, how did that end up? Oh, +2 to neighboring cards. Okay, let's put this in here then. Right, I put that over there because that got extra +2. What if I did this? That's 20. That's 21. That's 20. I'd rather do the 20 than the 21 because I don't want to lose the kudos. Actually, you know what? It's a 72. I better go for the 21. 6. Oh, that is unchangeable. At least 22. Well, that wins. And what do I get for the victory? -1 kudo. You try your hardest, but even with the full force of the defense squad, you can barely keep it contained near the farms. You dart in and around the battle, throwing rocks and making noise to keep the abomination's attention away from the rest of the colony. Its tentacles wipe around, slapping the ground and knocking into people, picking them up and throwing their helpless bodies like dolls, only to be crushed under its massive trunk-like feet. The fields are littered with bodies of the fallen. Sweat stings your eyes, but you somehow stay on your feet. Others aren't so lucky. Badly, watch out! Calm cries out, and you look up just in time to dodge a wet slap of a tentacle, tipping over a body and sprawling to the dirt yourself. Tripping over a body and sprawling to the dirt yourself. The faceless makes a horrible noise from deep inside its craw, flecking you with spittle as your guts liquefy from the near mist. You're close enough to feel the sick heat radiating from it. It doesn't have a face, but you realize with horror that it sees you. Zzz. The beam of Plas rifle arcs over your head, and the faceless roars again and turns its terrible attention to Calm. You scream and uselessly cover your head as it lumbers over you. As you scramble to your feet, you see Calm go flying through the air. He lands a few meters away with a sickening wet crunch. Aminette cries in horror as she runs to Cobb's side, but it's too late. His body has been at an unnatural angle, his eyes open and his face frozen in stupefied terror. He looks unreal, like a wax mannequin. He's just gone, like that. Aminette lets out a primal scream of pain, and you can see the thought ignite in her mind, contorting her face with ugly fury as she stands up to launch herself at the Faceless again. You grab her arm and she yells at you in wordless rage, but collapses to her knees, throwing her body over comms and sobbing like the scared teenager she is. You can only stand and watch. You hear a colossal cracking noise and look up to see the Faceless stumble towards the stratosphere. With a roar that shakes your very molecules, it loses its balance for the last time and falls onto the ship. Metal screams as the ship buckles and gives way. Whole pieces of the quarter's wings shear off as your home opens like a tin can, spilling its contents into the square. The strato lurches, then collapses under the creature's weight. The abomination is slain, but its wails of grief join the whimpers of the dying. You have to wonder. Excuse me. At what cost? The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the impressive gloom of glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratosphere, spilling its placid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. You can't forget what you saw. Destruction of the Strato 3. Keep between rounds. Your mind keeps replaying that terrible moment. Faceless rearing up and obscuring the sky. Aminette and her brother looking so small before it. Governor Eckhart was killed by the small creatures that swarmed. Oh, she's not saying that. Governor Eckhart was killed by the small creatures that swarmed command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. Council acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the Faceless. Geoponics is gone. The greenhouse is destroyed and fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back to where you started, it's even worse. Everything your mom sacrificed herself for, gone in one night. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the crèche. It's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the crèche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives, too many including Governor Eckhart. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Aminette and her family cry out when her brother Com's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Tammy doesn't return to the classroom. The little one's got out okay, but she's still in med bay and will be for a while. Emma cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. So, we were in mourning before. Well, Hannah, I'm doing okay. Thank you for the congratulations. You feel like you've been awake for days. Oh, right. I was going to mention something about this. So we were in mourning before, and now we're in mourning again. So we get an extra month on here. This is, I was, it sort of is, but it sort of isn't. It's considered a cozy game. It's called I was a teenage xenocolonist. It There's a lot of reading and a lot of uh, choices like the visual novel, but it also has a card game attached to it. So you have memories that are cards, and you play those cards for challenges. Um, when you say visual novel, that there's a connotation there that doesn't fit with this game. It is very fun. I'm not just playing this on stream. I've also got another game that I've been playing just for my own enjoyment. And the games stack. You're meant to play through at different times. You're meant to actually see how your choices change the game. So you have this sort of premonition mechanic to it that after you play through one game, or actually you don't have to have even finished that game. You get premonitions from the previous game when some choices are available. You feel like you've been awake for days and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep, sitting up, head in your father's arms. Um, did I know about the changes in Twitch for affiliation? I haven't heard any recent changes about affiliation for Twitch. Your sleep is fitful but mercifully dreamless. Um, no, I didn't know about that. Last I checked, it was 50 followers with 4 average viewers for like an entire month. Well, so I got the followers. I just need continuous viewers. Okay. Nobody has a speech bubble, but everybody has something to say about the tragedy. It's been hard to talk to your dad about everything. Losing your mom, even losing the colony right after. It's too much to take. Neither of you know what to say. I know it's hard, Cal says, fiddling nervously with a tassel on his shirt. But I just think, what would your mom do right now? She wouldn't complain, that's for sure. Uh, FNAF, is that Five Nights at Freddy's? I haven't ever actually played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. What do you gotta say? This is examining a bit of rubble, turning it over in his hands. I wonder if we ever gonna find, like, alien tech, he says. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, I'll have to take your word for it. I'm not much of a jump scare game player. I don't like it in videos. I don't like it in movies or TV, and so I really don't like it in games either. It's just not my thing. Mars crosses her arms and sulks. What is the point of having all these kudos if I can't actually use them to, like, buy stuff we need? Like, hello? It's not like I can mail order more supplies through the wormhole. Tangent frowns. I just don't understand, she says. Why now? Why does it keep getting worse? Well, there's only one thing to do. Well, there's two things to do. Mourn and rebuild. Engineering is crammed with families and what belongings they salvaged from the destroyed living quarters. Excuse me. You can spend time in your crowded temporary lodging in the classrooms, or help the adults try to fix things. Let's rebuild. Yeah, role playing games can be that. I do sometimes play role playing games on this channel. I was at one point playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I was also playing Final Fantasy IX. Neither of those have I finished, but I kind of got bored, tired, burned out on them. I plan to go back, but right now I'm playing this one and Graveyard Keeper. Final Fantasy is a nice game. If you're Yep, they do often need a lot of grinding. Well, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorites too. Has been for years. First month, the quiet passes. Each day, prodding one after the other. You still have trouble sleeping in classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day, you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger come in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. First part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews dis- disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin work patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. This is on the wall of the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls don't help. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles. Whenever anyone asks for his opinion, we should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings in my land, I'd be ticked off too. Work is hard, or that this is right. This is pointless. Work is hard, or work hard. By the end of the month, you've made noticeable progress. There are other priorities and not a lot of construction materials. Oh, excuse me. When last year's mushwood harvest is done drying out, you'll be able to do more. Even if this is right, that it didn't help the first time, it's better than nothing. Building colony. Wow. Okay. 4. Another 4. That gets us a goal and another 4. That gets us a super goal. Only 2 stars. Got some toughness and organization. That's pretty much what we're going to get through the rebuilding phase. The sun's finally dawned again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of the engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon. As a wormhole recedes across the sky, dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of the damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping. Like most people, it's hard to find rest. Cramped into the classroom with all the other kids and their families, and every time you close your eyes, you shake your head to clear the memories. You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Not your blanket, that one's gone. And stare out at the sun rise on the horizon, meager and sickly. Hey, kiddo, you hear? Then your dad comes and sits down beside you. I was looking for you. Nice view, huh? At least we got a rooftop patio out of the deal. He laughs a little at his own joke, then just sort of trails off with a sigh afterward. Puts his arm around your shoulders, and you sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all the broken glass littering the fields. glimmering like a field of stars. Neither of you really know what to say. It's clear your dad feels like he has to give you a pep talk, but there's an oppressive nature to the silence that makes it feel impossible for either of you to start. Eventually, he just sighs and his shoulders slump. I know things seem pretty bad right now, he says, squinting into the sunrise. It sounds like it's taking all its effort not to cry. But it'll get better. It has to, right? You're not so sure. At least your mom wasn't here to see this, he mutters. That's the silver lining, I guess. You watch the sunrise together for a few moments. After a bit, your dad musters a brave smile and pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. Happy birthday, my little rutabaga, he says. You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion. The one your dad made. The sun on it, to represent Earth, was broken during the attack. In all the chaos, you didn't even notice, but your dad did. He made you a new one. It's just like you remembered. A similar design with a wormhole that, this time, that represents Viridia. You thank him. He squints out at the swirling wormhole, still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Your dad slapped you on the back. What a birthday, huh? Here's hoping they all get better from here. You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen where you put up temporary roofing with whatever tarps and scraps can be found. Colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne has coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars. Life's the same, but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in stony silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Chief Administrator Seek has taken over as interim governor until the council can elect someone new. Last week they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the stratospheric destroyed front half into a memorial shrine. After everything useful has been salvaged, there's still so much to do. Mid-quiet. I think everybody has more to say. Tangent paces outside the engineering wing, the only building still standing. With everyone living in there, it's barely enough room to think. This wretched planet, Mars grumbles, gazing at the wreckage of the stratospheric. That was my ship! It was your ship, huh? Tammy's not around. Oh, Tammy's in the Meg Bay. She was in the crutch and she got pretty beat up. Dis is sitting on a pile of rubble, looking out over the colony wreckage. He doesn't look particularly sad. What do you want? I know it's hard, Cal says, fiddling nervously with the tassel of his shirt. That's the same thing he said last month. That's also the same thing with your dad from last month. It's interesting how everything else is different, or everybody else says something different, but your dad and Cal say the same things. You're assigned to help out in geoponics. The agriculturalists have been hard at work trying to salvage what they can from the ruined fields and the destroyed greenhouses. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Your dad has taken over as chief cultivator. Succeeding your mom was already difficult for him, and now there's this. He never been the kind of guy to hide from hard work. But he's been pretty distant lately. Cal's working in geoponics too, of course. He smiles as he sees you. Hey, Badly, there's a lot of stuff to do. What do you want to work on? Repair the greenhouses, work in the fields, rebuild the animal pens. Let's rebuild the animal pens. The pens only suffered minor damage during the attack, weirdly. Most of the damage seemed to have come from inside the pens, as if the normally tame animals had been stirred into a frenzy. Oh, Tangent is also there. Excuse me. Though it's not to help hammer and nail things, she's studying the animals, trying to figure out what could have influenced them. Takes blood and hair samples and readings from some sort of complicated brain scan device. Interesting, is all she says. Not explaining her findings to you or Cal. Excuse me. Everyone is worried that this will be the final nail in the coffin of your food supply after the famine last year. You try not to think about it too hard, instead focusing on just doing what you can to help rebuild. Rebuilding the colony. Once one the physical cards, one slot will turn cards into physical. I'll throw that one in there. Next to it. Not 6. 5, 6. Really? Nope, doesn't like that. There we go. 26. Only 1 star. But 4 toughness and 2 organization. You're eating in the mess tent when you hear something rumbling. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire. You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structure together in Colony Square. People are squinting up into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor's going to land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all. That ain't no meteor. Mars grabs your shoulder. "It's another ship!" she exclaims. Look, look, it's another ship from Earth! Another spaceship from Earth!" Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? You stare up unbelievingly at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear the whistle of it ripping through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. That is not a controlled descent. It's an enormous ship coming at you way too fast. The ship reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throwing your arms over your head and squeezing your eyes shut. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geoponics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. You're thrown to the ground from the force of the impact as shrapnel and small rocks zing past your head. It grinds along like some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding place, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The new ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out the stenciled letters, Heliopulse. A hatch opens in its side and a shell house begins to emerge. Shell houses with guns. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all the remaining colonists. More soldiers form two parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest, and a long figure strides down the center towards you. "Greetings, fugitives of Earth," the man says, spreading his hands wide. A dismayed mutter ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Engineer Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him. "I am Commander Long," he says proudly. "As captain of the Heliopulse, I have come to render aid and bring you to justice." Listen with the others. Zeke steps forward out of the crowd. "You're not the commander of the Heliopulse," she says firmly. Governor Etiquette was expecting Commander Morqua. Everyone is surprised. Etiquette had been in communication with the ship for how long? "I am Captain of the Heliopulse," Lum repeats stubbornly, and then adds, "According to the chain of command, we sustained significant losses of personnel when we went through the wormhole. I.e., you lined up everybody who was ahead of you in command and shot them." You can't help but notice many of the soldiers exchange looks this time. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander. "As the commanding officer," Lum continues, "I declare this colony to be under our protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth." Zeke bows. Now, they stammer. "There's no need for dramatics. We're a diminished colony, as you see. Governor Etiquette died in the most recent attack, and Fluorescent passed away a few months ago. even technical halatos is gone. You see, we're quite leaderless. What, your mom? What would these Earth cops have wanted from your mom? You notice Chief Engineer Instance is being held with her arms behind her back. She glowers at Lum with unbridled hatred. Oh! There appears to be some history here. Apparently, many people on the council are would be known by name to these newcomers. Your mom, Professor Howe, Chief Engineer Instance, Governor Ucott. That's interesting. That's not something I've ever seen before. Lamb turns to the assembled colonists. Well, why don't we fix that? He declares. Say hello to your new governor. You hear a few gasps of shock and outrage, and Lum raises his hands placatingly. Let's not pretend you don't need our help, he says. And we could simply arrest you instead, but there's no need to dramatize your little colony further. Oh, demoralize your little colony further. Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. No one knows how to react. A new governor from Earth, nearly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers. What does this mean for the colony? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back to the Heliopulse, presumably to talk about the future of the colony, you hope. Track down your friends. So what do you think about these new people? Mars asked. I'm glad they're here to save us. I'm excited to make new friends. Neither of those seem to follow the um, the feeling you get from that previous scene. They're just here to boss us around. I don't want to share this planet. Each one of your friends fits with a different one of these answers. I don't want to share this planet. I don't mind sharing, Tammy chimes in. They might be from Earth, but they're still human. They're probably just scared like we were when we came through the wormhole. Tammy, you're a wonderful girl and a wonderful woman and a wonderful human being, but I think in this case you're wrong. You're too trusting. The entire colony, now twice as many of you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the Heliopulse, tearing it down and combining it with the stratospheric remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the Heliopulse aren't like any people you've ever met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony or for the future. Next month. Interlude. It doesn't actually say that, but it feels like that. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around this new ship, the Heliopulse. and the new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives. Together you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunker garrison. The Stratos engineering wing is the only reminder of your old colony. The Heliopulse brought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as rich seed bank and working hydroponics. Finally, an end to the slow starvation you've felt for years. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. A full stomach, a roof over your heads, and the promise of safety convinces most Stratocolonists to accept the Helios. In turn, the Helios decide that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide they aren't so different, really. They're even Helio children, born among the stars just like you. After a month of hard work, you and your dad move into your new quarters, and you have your own bedroom for the first time in your life. You place a picture of your mom on the shelves beside your bed. You step out onto your very own balcony to watch the new colony. Its grounds bustling with so many strangers and strange new ideas. You feel something rise in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope, excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. Status ended starving. Thank goodness. +5 colony defense. -100 stress. So I'm also heroic, so that increases my physical skills, and then I'm without stress currently, so 10% chance to get a bonus +1 when increasing skills. Rush outside and greet the day. Cautiously step outside. I wondered where Tammy would be in this new colony. Not surprised that she's back out. Living quarters. The new common area is a hastily constructed platform clinging to the side of the Heliopulse. Crews are hard at work incorporating the rigid hull into the natural landscape, creating a charming open air place for gathering, eating, and relaxing. Just outside, you can hear construction happening on new living quarters for everyone from both ships. I can visit the spa and maybe get rid of a card. Help in the kitchens. I haven't been doing much of that. Practice the photo phone. Relax. Let's visit the spa. I don't mind -1 stress, even though it's a 0 card. Don't I have a card that replaces this one? Yeah. +1 for each unplayed card. Let's make sure we don't have any. I just got this one. It's a 0, but I don't think I want to throw it away just now. Actually, it might be a +1. Don't I have something that gives me, yeah, toughness here? +1 to physical cards. So, all these reds and all these wilds, except for the unchangeable, get a +1. So that's not a 0, that's 1. That's not 2, that's 3. That's not 3, that's 4. It's not that. That is still 4. I don't want to get rid of this too. It has a jewel or gem, so it can be combined with something else to either increase it or increase another. All cards under 2 become 2. All strength cards under 2 become 2. Well, that really doesn't matter except for this one. So I'm going to forget it. Actually, maybe I should have forgotten Stress Cry instead. Oh well, what's known is done. Let's see what they have to say. Cow is catching a nap, sprawled across the pallet of bags of fertilizer. Someone covered him up with a scratchy burlap blanket. You're about to leave him alone, but he blinks awake and yawns at you. Hey, Badly, he says, rubbing his eyes. Sorry, just catching some shut-eye. It's all hands on deck getting geoponics up and running again. Do you need me for something? I don't have biology 40. I barely have biology probably 30. Yep, I have biology 30. So, nope, I'm done. Tammy stands at the door of the lounge looking across the colony to where the geoponics dome are under construction. Oh, hello, she says, and she realizes you're watching her. Do you speak to Cal very much? Does he ever, talk about me? She flushes a deep beak and looks away. Oh, forget I said that. Need 80 empathy for the next random act of kindness. Oh, here's Tangent. Tang almost doesn't notice you approach. She's staring into the distance, almost as if she's gone into sleep mode with her eyes open. She blinks out of her daze as she hears your footsteps. Oh, Badly, she says. It's only you. What do you need? Right now, nothing. Okay, we've got new people. This... that's not the right name of the ship, is it? This new boy from the heliosphere is a couple of years older from you. He's very handsome. The missing arm gives him a heroic, battle-scarred vibe. He stands tall and deadly and ready for action, even though it's a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. He sees you staring and gives you a curt nod. My name is Lance, Lieutenant Ovalensis, he says, considering you with a glint of... I said Lance, didn't I? My name is Vince, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge in his eyes. And you are... How do you introduce yourself? I'm just a kid. I practically run this place. I'm a soldier like you. I'm into science. I'm an explorer. I'm a hard worker. I just want to have some fun before I die. This guy is part of an invading force. Do I want to just kind of say I'm just a kid? Kind of downplay myself? Don't let them see me coming? I'm just a kid. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says. The Arab boy who's hard to impress. Nice to meet you, Badly. I hear it's been a rough couple of years for the colony. Lucky thing our Helo pulse came along just in time. He continues, don't worry. We have some of the best soldiers, the very best. We'll keep the colony safe. We were doing fine just before you came. Are you one of those best soldiers? We're training as a team, but Finn says, then clears his throat. Yes, I've won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual riflery tournaments. Even competing against adults, he adds. Bet I could take you, or being planet-side is totally different. Being planet-side is totally different. Tell Vince that firing a virtual gun is nothing compared to running for your life through the jungle while a wild Unisaur hunts you down. A Unisaur, Vance says, leaning forward a little, his eyebrows raised. Did you actually say something that interests him? That sounds like a fun sport. I'd like to try it sometimes. Yes, we would like to see you try it sometimes. Sometime. More likely one time. I don't know if I'm going to do anything for Vertun this year. Eminette says, crossing her muscular arms. I know Calm wouldn't want me to... Pardon me. I know Calm wouldn't want me to stop just because of him, but it doesn't feel right. Whoops, I clicked on her again. So something different. You and Eminette watch as a unit of Helio soldiers jog by with Vince in the lead. Did you see that guy? She says, when they're out of earshot. He's kind of hot, right? Please, don't tell me you're falling for that guy. You've seen Num Num around since the Helio Post landed. They're around your age and barely a meter and a half tall, only coming up to your shoulders. You never seen anyone dressed as strangely as they do. Hi! Her voice high-pitched and quick. I'm Num Num. It's short for nomination. They do a little twirl and bow. You introduce yourself and... That's about their outfit. Oh, this will take... I designed it myself. A Num Num original based on an outfit Lavender Starlifter wears in the third season of Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform, when she has to work undercover as a lead singer in an idol group. They stick their leg out. Only, I changed the bottom part. Of course, I have to wear my gaming gauntlets. I call them gaming gauntlets, but they're really EnviroSuit gloves, and I modded them so I could play hologames through them. Do you like games? My favorite is Laser Fable and Digger Dog. Laser Fable is so much more fun now that we can play outside with room to run around. What kind of holo games do you Strato Kids like to play? Nom Nom stops to catch her breath, winded after her extended outbursts. Get her to calm down, challenge them to game of Laser Fable, politely extract yourself. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Yeah, sometimes I get carried away, they say with a grin. Rex says my superpower is boundless enthusiasm. Personally, I wish my superpower was being able to fly or go invisible, or like being able to eat as much as I want and make the food go into somebody else's stomach or not mine. You have some really good food here on Vertoma. You know, it's really like the. Oh, right. None of them pauses. You give them a look. Deep breaths. Challenge in the game of Laser Fable. You're on! None of them helps you install it on your holopalm and explains the rules. Laser Fable is an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you're running around and bumping into each other. And there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers. Um, three. 15 and the goal is 61. Oh. Card is 3. No matter what. Guess I could remove this beautiful vista and put that in there, and that's 18. Well, my first thought is I could move this one into the center and then they're all... But no, because again, that's 3 no matter what. But what if I put this one here, change this one for this one, and that's 18. No, I'd rather do this. Okay, this one's 4. Wait a minute. Put this one 4 first. And that one there. And that becomes a 5, even though it's 3. That's really good. Then I just need 19. 4, 4. Um, 29. Only 2 stars. +2 to combat. Guess what? I didn't get +1 to combat, I got +2 to combat because I'm not starving anymore. Right on, brother. Oh, right on, brother. Nami gives you a high five, then a couple quick flicks of her gauntlet gives you a kudos for winning. They explain this is how they always play Laser Fable with the kids on the Heliosphere. +1 kudos, +2 friendship for Nom. They keep switching back and forth between Heliosphere and Heliopulse. That's interesting. Except they mostly don't want to play anymore. They say they're too old for it. They just want to be soldiers now, like Rex. He's so cool. Except Rex, he's so cool. Let's meet Rex. Colony's full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see strangers. It's disorienting. After growing up in a closed spaceship, you never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertuna. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof! He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off of you and giving you a wide-fanged smile. Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopulse. You think his name is Rex? Hi, hello, Al. Hey, what's up? Hey, I'm Badly. Welcome to Vertuna. Stick out your hand and shake his, and he laughs. You notice he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Pleased to meet you, he says. I'm Rex, and I love to shake a paw. I know a ton of tricks. He winks. Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you could help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job there. I'll take you there. It's in command that way. Take you there. Welcome over to command. Everything's moved around since the Heliopulse landed, but the construction yard is still in command, where it always was. At the entrance, you meet Mars, filing her nails and looking like she's waiting for somebody. Why, hello, cutie, she says to Rex. Where did you come from? He looks up at her and grins. He looks her up and down and grins. I'm just an angel who fell from the sky, darling. You try not to gag as the two of them flirt. You give a loud and point Rex towards the construction yard. He looks back at Mars over his shoulder and winks as he leaves. So let's talk to Mars. Mars grabs your arm and hugs you and hauls you somewhere a little more quiet. OMG, she says. So I was making out with one of the Helio kids. Really? Don't make that face, Badly. It's no big deal. And she said that they're not allowed to use their nanoprinters for anything except uniforms. She holds her hand to her chest. Excuse me. No wonder they're so boring. Clothes are the window dressing of the soul, Badly. I need persuasion 40 or greater to get into a debate with her. So I guess that had nothing to do with her. Let's see if she says something else if I click on her again. What were we going to do with Etiquette, Mars muses? What are we going to do with Etiquette? Sniffling into a tissue. Without a governor, we're totally lawless. What if someone tries to take my stuff? What do you think about the new kids? Mars asked. Most of them are very, soldiery, and I suppose that's okay if you like that sort of thing. Rex is a total hottie, though, and from what I hear, she makes a significant expression with her eyebrows, conveying something. Well, she continues, I just think I have a chance with you. She still hasn't said the thing I was looking for, which is she is happy that she can speak to people who haven't known her entire life. Well, let's see what Dad has to say. He has something he needs to say. Even though it hurts to find yourself wandering over to the geoponics, it feels not good to be here in the place your mom loved and ultimately gave her life to, but not good either. But not good either. It feels like when you have a bruise and you can't stop yourself from pushing on it because the pain reminds you the injury is real. Like your mom dying is the huge invisible wound, and poking at it forces you to feel something instead of just being dumb. Your dad is taking time off of work. Your parents worked double and triple shifts during the last growing season, and now that it's over, it just feels so cruel. When people work together, they should be able to look back on what they did and feel proud. Instead, there's just this huge gate where your mom should be. You find your dad sitting in your mom's personal garden. It's miraculously starting to grow again, despite being trampled flat during the last attack and neglected during the famine before that. Still, various Vertunian flowers are starting to sprout, as well hardier earthy ones like dandelions. Your dad looks up and musters a smile. He pats the bench beside him. Sit quietly, talk to him, leave him alone. You false start a few times. It's almost impossible to think of something to say when there's this magnitude of grief between you. He gives you time. When it's obvious that you want to talk but don't know what to say, he takes your hand. He has two larger ones. Did I ever tell you about how your mom and I started dating? You shake your head. You know they grew up together in the first colony on Earth, but nothing about their relationship. He smiles and looks at the garden as he remembers. I always thought she was too cool for me, he says quietly. Things were, well, people don't like us much on Earth, so she was always kind of a bruiser. Always ready to pop off, even when she was your age. She and Rhett were the same back then. Reminiscences. I always thought they were going to end up together. Then your mom got injured and the first colony was attacked. I was working part-time in the clinic, and I guess that's when she realized I liked her. We had to apply to get on the stratospheric, he continues. We'd only been seeing each other for a few weeks, so I was surprised when she said we should apply as a couple. They wanted all different kinds of family groups, single people, couples who could have kids or couldn't, trads and quads, but we all had to be young. And there weren't many teenagers willing to commit to being a, mated pair. It upped their chances of getting picked. He laughs and scrubs his face with his hands. She wanted to get off the planet more than anything. I don't think she realized she'd fallen in love with me until we were already in space, he says really. Lucky for me, right? Your dad shakes his head fondly. There aren't many people like your mom, kiddo. I'd surprised to feel a tear trickle down your cheek. There's so much you don't know about her and what she was like, more than just being your mom. It's really hitting you that she was a person before you knew her, and now you never knew her like that. You'll never know her like that. There's a past you'll never fully know, just like there's a future that she never will. Your dad pulls an arm around your shoulder and you sit like that for a long, long while. And he's got more to say. Hello, my little tomato. Your dad's voice rings out across the field. Hale and hearty. You don't have it in yourself to be embarrassed. Not during pollen. Not with the memory of him struggling to breathe so fresh in your mind. Are you coming to check on your old man? He teases you. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and lets it all out comfortably. I'm doing great. No congestion, no sneezing. And I definitely don't want to take a hike outside the walls. You got a card. Dad's love. +1 to and from other speech cards. Your dad pulls you into a big hug, ruffling your hair. He smells like sunshine and dirt, sweat, and you've never been happier to breathe it all in. He's alive. I'm proud of you, he says quietly. You can pull off miracles, kiddo. Okay, this is where we're going to end it today. Thank you for joining me for Nathan Plays Badly. Nathan streams badly. I was a teenage Exocolonist. I stream on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 5:30. 6:30 to 8:30. And then the vlogs go up a week later on YouTube on Wednesday. I also stream on Friday nights from 9:30 to whenever, and the vlogs go up a week later on Wednesday. Also check out my YouTube playthrough of Stardew Valley 1.6, which goes up on Mondays. Eventually, it'll get there. Still probably a couple weeks away before I get into the swing of things again. Get caught back up with all my vlogs. Also, next week there will be no Tuesday stream. There will, of course, be the Friday stream, but Tuesday I'm going to be out of town, so there won't be Tuesday stream. If you want to get in touch with me on social medias, my ex is at Nathanplaysbadly, Nathanplaysbadly on Facebook, Discord, YouTube, and here on Twitch. Also, there is a Discord server for the channel. If you want to get on that, that's how I do most of my communication with the community. Is if there's going to be a delay, if there's going to be a cancellation, even I typically put a little thing on there when I'm beginning the stream. That's where it is. If you want to get on that, just send me a friend request on Discord, and I will send you a invite to the Discord server. Again, thank you and goodbye. Hey, it's Nathanplaysbadly here. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you didn't like this video and you want to leave a constructive comment about what you think might make this video better, I'd also appreciate that. Also, you might see my picture down here. Click on that and subscribe. That would be great too. Thank you and goodbye.